2019 Honda Pilot car review. We didn't realize that Honda wasn't Awachi conscious of its thorough Pilot crossover looked similar to a minivan. Most Honda employees that we've met through the years appear to have functioning eyes. But apparently, our and presumably many others' constant refrain in regards to the Pilot's mommable look stung. The good points of 2019 Honda Pilot: improved 9-speed automatic, a real volume knob, added standard equipment. The bad points of 2019 Honda Pilot: more rugged appearances generally imagined, slightly higher prices. Well, forget about bucko. Look at the 2019 Pilot's plastic front and back bumper covers, now partly painted silver to suggest the use of skid plates. You know where you'd find skid plates? On a real SUV. A minivan wouldn't have skid plates, would it not? No, it would not. Not even ones that have been not actual skid plates. And this company changed out the existing front grille, that has been reminiscent in the Odyssey minivans, hoping projecting a square-jawed, tough guy visage. That the new grille looks much like the Accord sedans is not a thing about which we're going to comment. Finally, this company has moved the opposite lights up from your rear bumper cover into the tail light clusters. We're undecided if that was area of the effort for making the Pilot seem less minivanish or if the corporation just liked it. Does doing this make it look more SUV-ish? Well, a slam dunk. But we are aware we're on shaky ground ridiculing Honda for trying to produce the Pilot look tougher after criticizing the business for how not rugged it looked before. We're stuck between disparaging the silly dress-up game of disguising a wonderfully good family vehicle as something tough and if you know the current market reality necessitates it. People purchase a copy vehicles due to the image of them, said a Honda spokesman, with just a touch of resignation in their voice. More than skin deep. But it's not all just window dressing. Honda has actually addressed a number of the Pilot's non-visual shortcomings. We've complained multiple times regarding this supplied 9-speed automatic transmission inside the top Touring and Elite models. Lesser models receive a 6-speed auto since the actual generation arrived for 2016, including one there was for a long-term 40,000 mile test. The transmission was slow to downshift, making just what is a relatively quick vehicle due to the class feel somewhat sluggish and distant. Well, the 9-speed has become reworked, both mechanically and electronically, being more responsive. And it works. The downshift delay has stopped being conspicuous, plus the transmission is currently programmed to begin in second gear under normal circumstances. That produces the initial throttle type-in smoother than if it rushed with a short first gear. Honda also addressed the Pilot's rough and inconsistent stop-start system, another of our own gripes. There's less delay around the restart, which happens in the same way you begin releasing brake pedal pressure. It's amazing simply how much difference an exceptionally small decline in time may make in your perception of responsiveness. As on another recently updated models, Honda has because of the Pilot in actual volume knob the very first time in this generation, section of an infotainment and gauge cluster package ported over in the Odyssey minivan. It's still not one of the most intuitive of infotainment systems, yet it's less confounding and never as painfully slow to react as the previous unit. Also inherited from the organization's minivan is cabin talk, a method that allows front-row occupants to scold second and third-row passengers over an intercom, even pausing any video being played for the rear seat entertainment system. If you ever planned to feel like the pilot of the airliner or even an Odyssey minivan, here's your chance. Speaking of airliners and minivans, The 2019 Pilot's rear seat entertainment system now features a puppet-themed "How Much Farther?" app that displays time and distance to some destination inside the manner of your flight tracker. Wireless phone charging and also a 4G LTE Wi-Fi connection are newly available, too. Finally, Honda makes its Honda Sensing suite of driver assistance systems standard on all versions on the Pilot. In most cases, price is up slightly in contrast to last year's model. The least expensive iteration, the $32,445 front-wheel drive LX, plus the most expensive, the $49,015 all-wheel drive Elite, tends to be up $550 in comparison with the 2018 versions. But Honda notes that X models, now standard with Honda Sensing, are nearly the same as the prices of last year's X when preloaded with the then optional Honda Sensing. So, there's that. Unchanged, but not really much needing improvement, are the Pilot's 280 horsepower 3.5-liter V6 and optional Optum 4 on-demand all-wheel drive system, rogues of which can be a $1,900 option on all trims except the Elite, where it really is standard. The Pilot's admirable fuel economy, 22 miles per gallon combined for the all-wheel drive, 9-speed models we drove, continues to be same as before. The 2019 Pilot can be a slightly better vehicle compared to one it replaces, one who addresses some in the model's more annoying shortcomings. It remains a compelling family vehicle. Just be careful calling it a minivan surrogate when Honda consumers are around.